I was scrolling through my ultra running alerts today and a really interesting article caught my eye. It's certainly interesting to me. So the University of Victoria have just done a study on ultra runners, so completing distances of well over 42 Ks, and their kidney function. And they have linked really good performance after doing an ultra run to a specific birth weight. So if you have too low or too high a birth weight, apparently your kidneys struggle more after an ultra run. Random fun fact, that weight is 3.8 kilos. And if you're wondering what this has to do with leadership, then this podcast will tell you. I'm Suzanne Rath, and you're listening to Endures for your daily dose of endurance, leadership and life lessons. Now, I am obviously an ultra runner, and I was born weighing under 3 kilos. And when I dug a little bit deeper into this article, I realized that the research was done solely on men. And it got me thinking how much of our leadership, our productivity, our performance research is also done on men, and how are we extrapolating that data into women, maybe unfairly. So the results I found were variable. Gloria Marks is somebody whose research I quote a lot. So she did a seminal study showing that if we're interrupted, the cost of that distraction is around 20 minutes. And she had a reasonably equal number of men and women in there, but it wasn't divided. So we don't know from the results if there was a higher cost of distractions to women versus men. And as somebody who's trained as a physiotherapist, did a sports medicine master's, I'm a bit of a physiology nerd. And I wanted to go into the biological differences between women and men that could create differences in how we perform, how we lead, how we show up. And one core difference with women is in the HPA axis. Now, you don't need to know what that is, except if you think of it like a series of 3 buttons. So when we have a stress response, whether it is we have a poor night's sleep, a terrible meeting, somebody cuts in front of us in traffic, we do a heavy exercise session, we eat a really heavy meal, whatever the case might be, remembering that your body sees mental and physical stressors as the same. These little lights go on one after the other, and what happens as a result of that is cortisol is produced. Now, cortisol is your stress hormone, and it gets a bit of a bad rap because it's really important for competition, for focus, for drive when you need to do hard things. But we need to be able to switch off the tap. And the thing with women is we have fluctuating levels of estrogen and progesterone, and I include people that were born as women in this, because there are hormonal changes and differences that we really need to account for that aren't being accounted for in the research. And so estrogen can make our response to cortisol for the same stressor as men show up completely differently. And at this time, when we have approximately the same number of women going into entry-level positions, but still less than 30% of women in C-suite roles, and even of women and men at the same level, 20 to 30% of men, or men are 20 to 30% more likely, I should say, to be identified as high potential and high performers, so they will therefore go into these elevated roles, when we know that women are just as capable of performing. How do I know this? We know that women can endure. And just in the last day, depending on when you're listening to this and which time zone you're in, Rachel Entrekin won the Cocodona 250-mile race. This probably doesn't mean anything to you unless you are an avid trail running follower. But not only did she win the whole race outright, but she beat the men's record by hours. We know that women are capable. We know we can perform. We know we can do the thing. But when it comes to the tools to actually achieve sustainable high performance, the tools like recovery as strategy, the tools like clarity, repeated connection to vision, the tools like designing our day around a rhythm, it might just be that they're more important for women than ever before. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you tomorrow for more from Endures. Bye.